Born with a purpose. Born with a purpose. That's what I'm talking about. I've been thinking about what the minister and the Lord showed me this particular lesson here, that born with purpose. I think I preached it one time before, but I'm gonna preach it again because I really realize faith coming by hearing and hearing about the Word of God. So everybody in here has been born with a purpose, and the reason why you've been born with a purpose is because God wants to give the glory out of your life, and He wants to exalt you as His child in the earth. So what happens is when people are born with a purpose, number one, they have to find out what their purpose is. And when you find what your purpose is, number one, you pursue it. Now this is the thing about born with a purpose is, you might not like the purpose that you're born with, but you need to pursue it, because what's going to happen is out of it going to flow a lot of things that you need: finances, health, wealth, and other things in your life. Even if you don't like it, if you're born with it, if you follow through with what happens, God will give you glory in your life, and you go to another level. You have to realize even the men in the Bible, like Moses, he was born with purpose. But the thing about it is, his purpose took him several different ways. It took him from being in a hut to the palace, then going out in the desert, then going back to the palace and bringing people out of Egypt, and then also going through several obstacles like the Red Sea and the wilderness. But what happened is God gave him increase. When I say increase, I'm just not talking about money. Please don't think about every time you talk about increase and prosperity. Please don't think it's money. Because what happens is when you think like that, what happens, you begin to get tunnel vision. You don't see what God has got for you on the left or for the right, and you're always looking for money. But you have to realize, though, God will sustain you, God will supply you with whatever you need if you walk in your purpose. A lot of times people say, what is my purpose? Don't ask me, ask God. Because the thing about it is, God made us, and the Bible says, not we ourselves. So what happens, if you ask God, and the reason why some people keep saying I don't know their purpose, God didn't tell you that you don't like it. God didn't tell you what your purpose is, but you don't like what your purpose is. But you got to realize, on the other side of what you think is your blessing. So I want to talk about today. I want to talk about even from a child perspective, God will give you a purpose. So this is the thing about the Lord is, the Lord will bless you. He will bless you if you follow through with His purpose. Let me tell you something about your purpose. You're gonna have some challenges. You're gonna have some mountains. You're gonna have a lot of things that's gonna include with it. But what you have to do is, if you walk in your purpose, the Lord will walk with you. He'll be right there with you. In other words, He won't be behind you. He'll be in front of you. And when you start walking with your purpose, this will happen to you. People won't like you. People won't like you, and the thing about it is, people won't like you because the thing is, a lot of times when you're born with a purpose, people don't think you should be in that position. And the thing about it is, you can't listen to that chatter. You can't listen to that chatter because, number one, you have to realize they didn't call you, God did. And when God called you, number one, you have to watch people that you're around, because people that you're around, number one, as long as you stay on their level, they're all right. But when you go to another level, then they begin to try to ostracize you. You ain't this, you think you're all that, stuff like that. This is what they're doing. They're putting negative words in your spirit so you can doubt yourself. Don't never let nobody doubt your purpose. I don't care who it is, who it come from. Let me show you something of this. All right, I don't know, but probably people today. Years ago, people used to say, parents would tell them, you ain't gonna be nothing. You just like your dad, you just like your money. You ain't gonna never be nothing. You ain't gonna be this, you ain't gonna be that. And the kid would say, well, I wanna be this or this. No, you ain't gonna be nothing. You're gonna be like your dad or your mom. And what happened is, that particular kid, especially at a tender age, realizes, well, I ain't gonna be nothing. So they don't try to do nothing. But don't let anybody poison your spirit. Don't let anybody poison your future, because number one, they don't have control of your spirit, your future. You do. Go with me to Samuel, 1 Samuel. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for this word we're about to preach today. As we walk in this word, God, we walk in our purpose, we walk in our destiny, we walk in our future, and we realize the past has already been gone. Now we have to realize the latter will be greater than the former. And God, we thank you, we bless you, praise you, and glorify you in Jesus' name. Let everyone say say amen. First Samuel. First Samuel. Now, you realize Samuel was not even born in this particular scripture, well, in this particular book from the beginning. But this is the thing about it is, when you line up with God's purpose, God will line up with yours. If you line up with God's purpose, God will line up with yours. I'm going to show you something there. Now, it says, 1 Samuel 11, I'm going to read it. It says, and she vowed a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thy handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thy handmaid, but will give unto thy handmaid a man child or a male child, then I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. Now, we had to realize, years ago, when I read this scripture, I said, what you mean, no razor? He can't cut his hair, can't shave? No, because he was a Nazarite vow. A Nazarite vow is, number one, a Nazarite vow is you can't drink any strong drinks, you can't have a razor upon your head, and number one, you can't mess with dead things, and number one, you can't have sexual relationship outside of a marriage. So this was happening. What God was saying is, I want you pure and I want you holy, because number one, if you're a Nazarite, like the lady was saying, Hannah was saying, is actually he was going to be a prophet. And not only a prophet, he was going to be a judge. So in other words, he had to have this house in order. This is something God put in place down in the commandments. But you had to realize what she was saying is she knew the protocol. She said, I would not let a razor come on his head, and you won't drink strong drinks. You had to realize Hannah was one of two wives. She wanted two wives that her husband named Elkanah had. And every year they would go up to the house of God in Shiloh, and they would give an offering. Every year. They didn't do like we did. They didn't have church every Sunday, Wednesday night Bible study, Monday prayer. But every year they would go sacrifice it to the Lord. This is what the Lord required. Every year. Now, Elkanah had a wife named Peninnah and Hannah. Had two wives. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Bless his heart. But the thing about it is, what he did, he was allowed them back in those days, and the first wife, Peninnah, she had children. She had sons and she had daughters. Hannah didn't have anything. She didn't have no child. In other words, in those days, when a woman's womb was shut up, it was just like she was cursed. And every year they would go to the house of God in Shiloh and present a sacrifice. And what Elkanah would do is he would give them a portion. He would give a portion to Peninnah and Hannah. But what happened is he would give Hannah more because she didn't have any children. But what happened is every time they would go, Peninnah or Peninnah, whatever you call it, Peninnah would make fun of her because she didn't have any children. See, back in those days, children, but even these days, children are precious, very precious. And what happened is she had more children than Hannah, and Hannah didn't have any. But what happened was she would pick at her. You have to be careful how you try to destroy people's character or destroy people's life. Because the Bible says, what a man soweth, that shall he also reap. And you have to realize the harvest is always bigger than the seed. So what happens is when you try to trash somebody's life or trash somebody's family, watch out. Your family don't get it too. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful what you say about somebody, because number one is it's coming back to you. I don't know when, but it's coming back. And a lot of times don't come back as fast, but when it come back at an unopportune time. You think you didn't get away. But let me show you a scripture now. I'm going to take a little side journey. I'm going to show you a scripture now. I think I read it the other Sunday. Go to Ecclesiastes 8. I'm going to show you a scripture now. You have to be careful how you do other people and think you're going to get back. Can I preach? Ecclesiastes 8 and verse 11. Verse 11 11, it says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. What he's saying is, a sentence of a person that do you wrong is not executed speedily. But look what it says. Therefore, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. What they said is, I haven't got a harvest off this, so I'm going to continue to do evil. In other words, there's no payback right now, so I'm going to continue to do evil. But you have to realize, this is what the Bible says, though a sinner do evil of 100 men, and his days are prolonged, listen, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear God, which God feared before them. But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall the prolong of his days, which are as a shadow, because he fears not before the Lord. You have to realize in this scripture what he's saying is, you won't get away with it. Just because you do somebody do you wrong, they ain't gonna get away with it. It might not be, the execution or the payback or the harvest might not be come back as quickly as they done it to you, but it's coming. You have to realize anything prolonged, it grows. So what happened, what he was saying is, watch what you're doing. So now when they go to worship this particular year, but now goes there and she's still picking at Hannah, and Hannah goes there. Now when Hannah goes there, she began to pray. She began to pray and say, but Lord, if you give me a male child, listen, this one, I preached about prayer. She said, if you give me a male child, I'll give it back to you. She didn't ask for a girl, she asked for a boy. She didn't ask for twins, she asked for one. She didn't ask for anything, and she said, if you give me a male child, I'll give it back to you. How is this connected, Pastor? Because number one, the reason why I connected, because the pastor at that time, or the high priest at that time, Eli, his sons was messing up. Eli was the high priest. And people were going to the house of the Lord, and in those days they had women that would do service in the house and be at the door. But what happened was they were having sex. His sons were having sex with the people. And what happened was they began to tell Eli about it. And Eli said, well, look here. I heard that y'all been doing wrong. Stop it. They kept on doing it. Not only did they do that, they had two sons, Hophni and Phinehas. Now, not only did he do that, he started messing with the sacrifice of the offerings of God. Anytime you start messing with stuff that belongs to God, that's dangerous. Because what they would do is when they give sacrifice, number one, when they give a sacrifice, they would tell the people, see, number one, the priest all supposed to do the sacrifice. Number one, in all issues, they really should have been priests. Because the Bible said they didn't even know God. They just happened to be his sons. But this is what they done. This is what they done is when people would give a sacrifice, actually the priest supposed to boil it. But when they say, I want a roast. And then number one, first of all, you're supposed to burn the fat. And then what they would do is, they tell them, so look here, this is what I want. You say, if you don't give it to me, I'll take it. This is one thing about it. Anytime you take something that belongs to God, you put your life in jeopardy. You really put your life in jeopardy. So what happened was they were doing, not only now that they're having sex, they was taking God's offering and using it for themselves. Can I preach this thing? So what happened is you had to realize God told Eli. Let me get there. God told Eli, he said, look here, Eli, what your son's been doing, this is what's going to happen. I heard from him and I told you to take care of that. But you didn't do it. But this is what he said. Everybody in your family, I'm going to cut them off. He said, this is what he said. You want none of them live to be old. None of them. In other words, the priesthood in your lineage is doomed. He said, it won't happen anymore. It will not happen. I'm going to cut your family off. And this is what he said. I'm going to kill you. He said, I'm going to kill your children one day. I'm going to kill your sons one day. This is what he told me. So what happened, you had to realize, you got to be born with a purpose. Now, let me show you something there. The purpose, but the reason why I said this is because, number one, Samuel was born for the purpose, not just for his mama, but to take over the priesthood. So in other words, her purpose was connected to God's purpose. God gave her, let me tell you, this is what happened, to make a long story short. God gave her, after she did what she's supposed to have done, God gave her 6 other children. Now, one of them, the theologians say one of them probably died because the Bible said that she got 3 sons and 2 daughters. But in her prayer, she said she had 7. So apparently she had one child that died. Can I preach this thing? So let's look into this right here. The word purpose means the intent or intention. God He intent, number one, for Samuel to be born. He intent for Samuel to be born because he had realized Samuel had a mission. And in other words, what Hannah needed, God needed too. God needed a man of God who would listen to him. He would listen to him and follow his instruction. And I like the fact that, number one, when God allowed Samuel to be in with Eli, this is one thing about ministry is when people say when God called them to preach and all this stuff here, you need to be up under somebody who's going to train you. Samuel had to be trained to do what he needed to do. Even as a young child, he had to be trained. So the Lord showed me, said, look here, this is wrong with a lot of people. They hadn't been trained. They don't sit up under somebody and let them nurture and mentor them. They get the call, and the first thing they do, they run out and talk about God called me to preach. Yeah, he called you to preach. He might call you to do certain things, but he didn't tell you to go. So in other words, what he's saying is you need to be trained. You need to be under the instructions of somebody who sees it. Somebody that know the word, somebody that know how things supposed to go, know the protocol, and how to work this thing. Can I preach? But this is what it says. He said, everybody that's here on earth has purpose. The main question is, what is it? What is your purpose? Why are you here? Why you come to this church? Why do you get born in? How come you got saved? How come you work where you work at? How come you live where you at? What is it? What is it when you stay at? What is it about your job? What is it about your personality? What is it? Why you go to school? Why you go to college? Why you want to graduate? Why you want to do those things? Why you want to serve the Lord? Why you want to praise God? Why you want to be blessed? Why? What is your purpose in doing that? What is your mental state? What do you want out of this? What do you really want? Or do you know what your purpose is? We hear this all the time, say, well, what is my purpose? Your purpose is to seek the Lord with all your heart, number one, and follow his instruction. So what it's saying is, your purpose, are you walking in your purpose? Sometimes you don't walk in your purpose, you walk toward your purpose. And some people don't even know what their purpose is, so what happens is they begin to have a wilderness party. They keep going around doing the same old thing, year after year, and nothing changed. But the Lord said, listen here, you are born with a purpose. You're born with a purpose. Don't look at somebody else's purpose, look at yours. Don't try to figure out somebody else's purpose, figure out yours. Because the Bible says, ask, and it shall be given. Seek and shall find. Knock and the door shall be open. So in other words, all you got to do is just ask God. If you ask the Lord what your purpose is, he'll take you down a road, he'll take you down a path and show you what your purpose is. And this is the thing about it is, your purpose will be greater than what you think it is. Just because things start small, the Bible says despise not small beginning. So what happens is, just because it's small, what God is trying to do is get you ready for your next blessing. He's trying to get you ready for your future. He's trying to get you ready to get out of your past way of thinking. Can I preach this thing? But look what it says. Don't let your situation dictate your future. Don't let your situation dictate your future. Anytime you let your situation dictate your future, what happens is you've been led by something, not somebody. Don't let your situation dictate your future. Because number one, your situation can change. Your situation can change, so don't let that situation dictate your future. Just because you and I might be in a dark place right now, remember that we're the light. In other words, we're the light of the world. So in other words, don't look at your situation, look where you want to go. Count up the cost, where you want to go. Do what you need to do to go where you need to go. Don't stay there in that situation, because if you stay in that situation, what you do is you're procrastinating. You sit around, you say, I should have, could have, would have, and after a while you be older than you were at the time. Let me show you something. Go to 1 Samuel, once again, the first 6 verses. Let me show you something. Now there was a certain man, Ramah Zoethium of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, and the son of Joram, and the son of Eliud, and the son of Jehu, and the son of Zu, and Ephraim. And he had 2 wives. The name of one was Hannah, and the name of the other was Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. See what I'm saying? And this man went up out of his city, yielded to worship and to sacrifice unto the Lord of hosts in Shiloh. And the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priests of the Lord, was there. And when the time was that Hezekiah offered, he gave Peniel, his wife, and to all his sons and daughters portion. But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion, but he loved Hannah, but the Lord had shut up her womb. And her adversary also provoked her soul for to make her fret, because the Lord had shut up her womb. Let me show you something there. Her situation was that her womb was shut up. You can't look at that. If she, this is one thing I like about Hannah. She didn't look at her situation. Yes, she cried and she fretted, but she didn't look at her situation. The first thing she did is she started praying. This is what you need to do. Number one is when your situation don't look like what God called you to do, start praying. The Bible says man should always pray and not faint. I'm seeing right now, I'm seeing around the country that everybody want to pray. But the thing about it is, the question is, you should already been praying. Why do you want to pray right now? Why you want to pray when things are going bad? Why you want to things don't look like you want it? Huh? Why you want to pray? You should always been praying. So what happens is when you start praying right now, that lets me know that your faith ain't in God. Your faith is in you, and your faith is in your situation. So what happens is, that's why people fret. They fret because number one, they hadn't been praying. They had been giving God the glory. They had been praying. They had been studying the Word. But you have to realize now things are changing. Can I preach this thing? Things are changing in the world. The world ain't changing, but things are changing. Huh? So what happens is people want to pray now. Everybody wants to pray. But you have to realize the Bible says, if my people, which are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from your wicked way. He said, then I hear from heaven and forgive their sins and heal the land. But this is what happened. He said, if. So in other words, if you pray. See what happened, you got to pray. You got to pray for God to do something for you. You can't sit around and speculate and say, well, Lord, will you do it? You got to pray. He said, if my people, his people, he talking about the believers. He talking about the Christians. He talking about the blood-washed people. That's what he talking about. He said, if my people, it will if my people will humble themselves and pray. This what thing about it is, you can't pray being high and mighty. Because number one, you think it's all about you. So what happened, what the Lord saying is that I'm going to show you who I am. I'm going to show you what I can do for you, Hannah, if you pray. Hannah began to pray. This other woman had about five kids, but she didn't have none. So what she done, she went to the source. She didn't go to the resource, she went to the source. She went to the Lord. And the thing about it is, the Bible said if she was praying so hard that Eli began to look at her. I said to myself, why is Eli looking at her? He needed to be praying his own self. Now, in other words, he was looking at her and she was praying. But this is the thing about it is, she was praying out of her heart. And her lips were moving. So in other words, the man looked at her and he judged her. And he told her, said, daughter, he said, don't come in here and say, you're drinking too much wine. But she said, no, I ain't drinking wine, Pastor. I ain't drinking wine. He said, I'm praying. She said, I'm praying. I ain't drinking wine. She said, I ain't had no wine. But I'm praying that the Lord would give me a male child. This is what I want. I want a male child. She told him specifically, I want a male child. This is why she was praying so hard. This is why her lips were moving, but her heart was moving also. And she said, look here, I am not drunk. See, sometimes you can pray that people think you're drunk. But what it is, she's in the Spirit of God. She's in the presence of God. She's in the room of God. And she's talking to the Lord. And she's talking to the Lord. And she don't care who's looking at her. She don't care what people say about her. Because she want a petition from God. She want a request from God. She want a male child from God. So what she said is, I got to pray this thing. I'm tired of this woman sitting around and trying to pick at me all this time. I'm tired of this woman walking around parading with her 5 children and all that stuff. I'm tired of, God, I need a male child. But this is what I'm going to do, Lord. I'm going to give it back to you. I'm going to let you have it. But all I need, God, just to know that I got a child. Just give me a male child, God. What I do, God, when you give him to me, I'll give him back to you. That's why it's important that every time you have a child, you ought to give him to the Lord. Don't keep him yourself. Give him to God. Give her to God. Let God deal with it. Let God deal with your children. Let God raise them up. Give them back to the Lord. You don't have to listen. What she's saying, I'm going to give him to the ministry. I'm going to give him to the ministry. What he's saying is, that's what I need, daughter. That's what I need. I need somebody that's got my heart. And I believe Hannah had God's heart, because she went to him and told him, I'll give you my child. I don't know a lot of people would give their child to the ministry, but she said, look, I'll give you my child. Just let me have him for a while. Let me have him, God, till you wean up. Let me have him, God, till you get raised. Let me have him, God. I'll give him back to you. This is what she said. I'll give him back to you for all of his life. Not only for 30 days, not only for 60 days, not only for 6 months, not only for 9 months, not only for 12 months, not only for 8 months, not only for 2 years. I'll give him the rest of your life. All I need, God, is just get a child. All I need is just a seed. This is one thing the Lord told me about. She said, I need a male child so I can have a seed. I need a seed because I want my name to continue to grow. I need a seed. We had to realize I need a seed. The male got the seed. She said, I need a seed, God. And she said, I'm going to sow my seed back to you. Can I teach this thing? So what he said is, I'm going to sow my seed back to you. And anytime you sow a seed to God, it always comes back better. Can I preach? Look what it says. Praying with purpose will cause your situation to change. When you pray with purpose, it's going to cause your situation to change. Your situation and my situation is going to change if we're going to pray with purpose. You got to pray with purpose. Monday night, it showed me that people are really praying. I want a handful come here on Monday. But they want God to do something. And I understand that people work second shift or all that stuff. But they want God to do something. And prayer is free. But look what it said. Down to the 26th verse. And she said, O Lord, as thy soul live, my Lord, I am the woman that stood by thee here praying unto the Lord. For this child I prayed, and the Lord hath given me my petition, which I asked of him. Therefore also I have lent him to the Lord. As long as he liveth, he shall be lent to the Lord, and he worship the Lord here. Look what she said. She said lent, but what she's saying, I'm going to give you my child. I'm giving you my child, Lord, as long as you live. I'm giving to you. So what she's saying is, I'm going to see him every year. But I'm going to give him to you. Because number one, he's born with purpose. He's born with a purpose. Yeah, he's born to be my child, my son, but he's also born to be a prophet. He's also born to be a judge. Because what he's going to do is, he's going to save the nation of Israel. He's going to do what the Lord say do. He ain't got no, listen, he ain't got no preconceived idea. Because when God raised him up, the only voice he's going to, well, I ain't saying the only voice he's going to hear, the two voices he's going to hear is Eli and God. So in other words, you ain't got no outside voices speaking into his spirit. Because number one, you have to realize he's a child. And by him being a child, the people that he's around, that's what he's going to learn. So by him being around Eli, and what all Eli is doing is teaching the mechanics of being a believer. All him teaching how to work in the office of the priesthood. That's all he's teaching him. He's teaching him how to do the protocol. He's teaching him how to light the candle. He's teaching him how to do communion. He's teaching him how to pray. He's teaching that. But he's not teaching him how to hear from God, because God's going to speak to him. Can I preach? This is what's going to happen is, this is what happened when Samuel was born. She weaned him. Her husband said, Elkanah said, but look here, let's go to the house of God this year. She said, no, this is what I want to do. I want to wean him first. What she said is, I want to have a connection with my baby. I want to have a connection with my baby. You have to realize, as a mother, I'm not a mother, I'm not a woman, but what happens when a child being weaned and having breast milk, that's the connection that the mother and the child got. You understand what I'm saying? That's the food. Ladies, y'all know what I'm talking about. That's the food. But what happened, she said, I want to wean him. Because I don't believe they had milk bottles back then. They might have. But what happened, she said, I want to have this, I want to spend some time with my child. I'm going to give him to God, but I need some time with him. I need to wean him. Number one, I want to wean him. He don't need no diapers when they go up there. He's going to be potty trained. I need to wean him. I need to have a connection, a relationship with him. Because not only when he go up there, he's going to really be my priest. So I need to wean him. So what Elkanah said, okay, do what's good for you. So what she done is, about 2 or 3 years after she weaned him, she took him up to the Lord. And this would happen. When she took it up to the Lord, she also took an offering. Can I preach? She also took an offering, And this would happen. She took an offering and she took a child. This is what she did. She gave a double offering. She gave money and a child. This baby was born with purpose. He didn't know where he was going, but when he got there. And when he got there, this would happen. When he got there, God would call him at night and say, Samuel, Samuel. And he would get up. And we'd go in there with Eli and tell Eli, here I am, sir. Eli said, sit down, son. I didn't call you. And we go back again. Say, Samuel, Samuel. See, this is what let me show you something. There's some people right now, God called you, God's talking to you, you don't know who it is. He said, my sheep know my voice. Second time, he got up again. Said, here I am. What you need? Eli said, no, son, it wasn't me. The third time he sat down, he said, Samuel, Samuel, Samuel. And he got up again. He said, sir, here I am. What you need? Eli realized that the Lord was talking to him. Let me show you something in this. Eli was the high priest. Why would God jump over the high priest and talk to a child? Why would God jump over the high priest and talk to a child? A child that really don't know him personally. So what happened is, this is what happened. So Eli realized that God was talking to him. And Eli told him, said, look here, Samuel, the next time you hear that voice, he said, tell the Lord, say, your servant's here thee. And he called him again, and he got up and told him. And told Eli, he told Samuel everything's going to happen. And when he began to tell him, Samuel asked him, Eli asked him, say, what did the Lord tell you, son? And he told him everything that the Lord said. He told him that the Lord was going to destroy him, his family. He didn't leave nothing out. This is what Eli said. So let him do what he's going to do. But you have to realize now what happened is God, his purpose, you have to realize his purpose of being born is to replace Eli. See, sometimes you have to realize if you don't do what God said, God will replace you. God will replace me if I don't do what he say do. God will raise up, he'll raise up a child and replace you. Never get the idea that you're all that in a bag of chips. Never get the idea, I don't care how great a moment you have in the Lord, never get the idea because you're replacing. God will raise up somebody, he'll raise up a baby and replace you in a minute. And this is the thing about it is you'll train that person to take your place. You'll think you're training that person to go higher, but really he's going higher or she's going higher to take your place. You have to realize that when you're born with a purpose, sometimes you go through valleys, sometimes you go through hills and valleys, but when you're born with a purpose, stay on point. Because we have to realize now Eli is about to be replaced. And you have to realize that now he trained his successor. Now he had to realize this young man named Samuel, God began to bless him. And everything he would begin to say would come to pass. The Bible said his words didn't fall to the ground. Because then Israel began to see that he was a true prophet. They began to see that he was a true man of God. They see that he was called by God. So what happened is you had to realize when that happened is, then after that, Hannah came back. The last time Hannah took him up there to bring him his little coat. Eli told us, daughter, you go home and be blessed. And this would happen. When she went home, her and her husband got together. She had 3 sons and 2 daughters. Now she got 6 kids. So she got more than, but now. You have to realize when God called you, when God's got a purpose for you, he'll take you through a process. But on the outside of the process is the glory. On the outside of the process is his intent. On the outside of the process is your purpose. Walk in your purpose. Always walk in your purpose. This is what happens. When God takes you in his purpose, sometimes he'll take you out of the norm. He took Moses out of the norm. He took Peter out of the norm. He took Joshua out of the norm. So God will take you out of your normal activity because of the purpose. When you start walking in your purpose, the first thing I realized, watch your enemies. Watch the ones that are close to you, not the ones that are far from you. Because the ones that are close to you, they think you know you, but they don't know about you. So what happens is you got to realize when you start walking in your purpose, you will have a lot of enemies. When you start walking in your purpose, your family ain't going to like you. When you start working in your purpose, your name going to be like mud. Number one, Jesus began to walk in his purpose. When Jesus began to walk in his purpose, his family didn't even like him. His brothers and sisters didn't even like him. But his mother knew who he was. His father knew who he was, his earthly father. But he began to walk in his purpose. And as he began to walk in his purpose, everybody wanted to know who Jesus was. Some people wanted to kill him. Because number one, he was walking in his purpose. His purpose was to come here and live 33 years and die that we might be saved. So this was his purpose. So what happened when Jesus began to walk in his purpose, he had enemies. Let me tell you one thing about walking in your purpose. You will have some enemies. Don't think everything gonna be roses. Don't think you're gonna have a party every day. Don't think everybody gonna look. Don't think everybody gonna say, look here, I love you. Everybody gonna love you. But when you walk in your purpose, you got to stay focused. You got to stay focused on what's before you. You got to stay focused on where you're going. You got to stay focused on what the Lord is telling you. You got to stay focused on your enemies. Because what happens, you have to realize, if you take your eyes off the prize, if you take your eyes off your purpose, you'll turn in a ditch. The Bible says, how can two walk together except they fall in a ditch? Don't allow people to have you to turn out and fall in a ditch. Don't let people get in your way. Don't let people block you. Don't let people tell you, if I was you, I would do that. That ain't none of their business. Walk in your purpose. Because this would happen. Samuel began to walk in his purpose. When he began to walk in his purpose, this would happen. When Samuel grew up, the Lord began to have, Israel had a war. And what happened is you had to realize, Hophni and Phinehas, they got killed. Once they got killed, God began to, it's like how can I say it? It was like a domino effect. Hophni and Phinehas got killed. His wife was pregnant. Eli was sitting on a chair. Philip had broke his neck. So what happened is, when his wife and him heard that, the Bible said Ichabod wrote in their family. Ichabod means the glory of God was gone. So what happened is the spirit of Ichabod set on them. You know why? The spirit of Ichabod, because they didn't obey God. Don't let Ichabod come in your life. Don't let it, Ichabod. Ichabod is a spirit that, what happened is a spirit that was destroy you. Can I preach? Can I teach? Look what it said. Practice, Hannah's purpose of having a child, a son, lined up with God's purpose to replace the king with no hidden agenda, but to do God's will and not man. Go to the 3rd chapter of 1 Samuel. Let me show you. Teach tonight. We're gonna go. I want you to learn to walk in your purpose. Go to the 11th verse. Let me start with the 10th verse. And the Lord said, and stood and called as at other times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel answered, speak, for thy servant heareth. And the Lord said to Samuel, behold, I will do a thing in Israel, and which both the ears of everyone that hears shall tingle. In that day I will perform against Eli all things which I have spoken concerning this house. When I begin, I will also make an end. Look what it said. I will perform everything I spoke to Eli in this house. And then there will be an end. But look what it said. Therefore I have sworn unto the house of Eli that the iniquity of Eli's house shall not be purged with sacrifice or offering forever. But God is saying, so look here, you ain't gonna bring no offering, don't bring me no offering, don't bring me no sacrifice, I ain't accepting it no more. Don't do that no more. Don't bring it to me. Don't come here talking about I'm sorry. No, you had your chance. And Samuel lay until morning and opened the doors of the church of the Lord, the doors of the house of the Lord, and Samuel feared to show Eli a vision. Then Eli called Samuel and said, sure, Samuel, my son. And he answered and said, here am I. And he said, what is the thing that the Lord has said unto thee? I pray thee hide it not from me. God do so to thee, and more also, if thou hide anything from me, and all the things that he has said unto thee. Now look what Eli is saying. He tried to put fear in him, because he want to know what the Lord is saying. He tried to put fear in the young man and let him say, look here, if God gonna do to you, if you don't tell me what he said. Fear. But look what happened. Let me show you something. Look what it said. And Samuel told him every whit, and he hid nothing from him. And he said, it is the Lord, let him do what seems good. And Samuel grew, and the Lord was with him, and did let none of his words fall to the ground. And all Israel, listen, and all Israel from Dan to Beersheba knew that Samuel was established to be a prophet of the Lord. And the Lord appeared again in Shiloh, for the Lord revealed himself to Samuel in Shiloh by the word of the Lord. See, now what he's doing is he's showing Samuel who he is. He revealed it to him. Look what he said. I'm gonna do everything that I told you I'm gonna do to Eli's house. He said they're gonna be in. Let me show you where the end is. Go to 1 Kings, I think it's 1 Kings 2. Let me show you something. born with purpose. I'll get it. What happened was Solomon had Abiathar, the priest, which was in the house of Eli, had him killed. Praise and worship should be on your purpose. Number one, a part of your purpose should be praise and worship. Praise and worship should be on your agenda. When I say praise and worship, because what happens, what praise and worship does, you give it to God the glory, the honor, and the praise. Chapter 2 in 1 Samuel, this is what Hannah was doing. Hannah was giving God the praise and the worship. Go to chapter 2, 2 Samuel, go to 2 Samuel 2. 1 Samuel 2. 1 Samuel 2. And Hannah prayed and said, my heart rejoice in the Lord, my horn exalt in the Lord, my mouth is enlarged over my enemies. Look what she's saying now. Now I can tell my enemies, look here, Peniel, I got more children than you now. She's not dishing them, but she's saying it. I rejoice in my salvation. There is none holy as the Lord, for there is none besides thee, neither there any rock like God. Talk no more so exceedingly proud. Let not arrogance come out of your mouth, for the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. Look what she's saying. This is her prayer, and she's praying. And what she's doing is she's giving God the glory and the praise. Now, let me show you something. Go down to verse 21 in that same chapter. Look what it says. And the Lord visited Hannah so that she conceived and bare what? 3 sons and 2 daughters. And the child Samuel grew before the Lord. Now, you see what happened after all this? She was barren. The womb was shut up. She didn't have no kids. But now, picking at her. But now look what happened. After a short period of time, God gave her 3 sons and 2 daughters. Now she said a 7th, but my footnote said that the 7th baby probably died. But look what happened here. She went from 0 to 7. Why? Because God had a purpose for her. And her purpose was for to have a son and give him to the Lord, and the Lord will reward her with what she gave. Now let me show you something there. The Bible says, give and it shall be given to you. Good measure, first time shaking out your man, gives your bosom. She gave God 1 child, and he gave her 6. She gave 1 child, and God gave her 6. So in other words, when God gives back to you, it's more than you give to him. See, this is the thing about purpose is, God had a purpose. Now look at this. This is really a miracle, because what happened is she didn't have no children. Her womb was shut up. Nothing happened. Nothing happened to her until she said, well, Lord, give me a male child and I'll give it back to you. Then nothing happened. She was going every year up to the church, up to the house of God, and give the sacrifice and the offering, but nothing happened. Nothing happened until she said, Lord, if you give me a male child, I'll give it back to you. So what happened was God answered her prayer, but not only did he answer her prayer, he gave her more than she asked. She only asked for 1, but God gave her 7 or 6 more altogether. So you have to realize he was born with a purpose. This is what I'm saying is, God's got a purpose for you. Learn what your purpose is. Learn what your purpose is, and God will reward you in your obedience to your purpose. If you walk in your purpose, God will reward you. He rewarded her. He didn't only give her 1 child. He gave her more than Peniel, that her enemy had. He gave her more than the adversary had. He gave her more. And you had to realize this is what happened. I believe that God began to continue to bless her. You don't hear no more about Hannah, but the thing about it, at this particular time, at this particular time, she said, God, give me a male child. And why don't you just ask God, I said, Lord God, I'm going to give you my life. I'm going to give you my heart. I'm going to give you everything that you need, God. See what God give you back. See what God give you back, not only double, but more than a double for your trouble. Just ask, just say, well, Lord, if you give me this, I'll give you that. Now you say, Lord, you say, if you give me this, I'll give you that. If you give me this, I'll give you that. And God will reward you. God is not a respected person. So if he did Hannah like that, what do you think he'd do for you? And he's in the New Testament now. We're the New Testament church. We're the blessed one. We're the ones that God really want to change the world. We're the best ones. So in other words, why are we sitting around asking God for something that he wants to give us? Why are we sitting around frowning and talking about the enemy? Why are we sitting around saying, well, Lord, this. Why don't we just say, well, Lord, if you give me this, I'll give it back to you. If you give me this, I'll give it back to you. If you give me a great job, I'll give it back to you. If you give me a house, I'll give it back to you. If you do this, I'll give it back to you. And when God rewards you, He'll reward you more than you got. He reward you, and I know He will. He did it for me. He did it for me. I didn't ask for this church. He gave it to me. I didn't ask to be a pastor. He gave it to me. I asked to be saved, and He changed my life. But what I'm saying is, God will give you what you want if you give it to Him first. If you give God your life, God will change your life. If you give God your heart, He'll change your heart. If you give God your mind, He'll change your mind. I'm hearing people talking about, and I wrestle with this because I hear preachers that got mental health. But the Bible says He'll keep your mind in perfect peace, whose mind stayed on me. So in other words, where is your mind at? Is your mind on the Lord? Or is your mind on you? Is your mind on people? Or is your mind on Him? So in other words, that lets you know something's going wrong. Why is the preacher blowing his brains out? Number one, his mind ain't on God. In other words, he don't have a relationship. You can't have a relationship because number one, God don't want you to kill yourself. But He said, if your heart, He said, He'll keep your mind in perfect peace if your mind stayed on Him. You have to stay on God. You have to have your mind on God. You can't worry about folk. You can't get into with folk. I learned this a long time ago. Y'all are not my church. Y'all are not my people. Y'all God's people. I'm just a pastor of this church. I'm just a pastor. I don't own nobody in this place but me. So in other words, y'all God's people. I'm not going to sit up all night and worry, cry, and talk about they ain't doing this. I ain't going through that. I ain't going to get no heart attack behind that. I ain't going to get no stress behind that. I ain't going to get no high blood pressure behind that. All I'm going to do is pray. I say, let's pray. All right, I agree with you. I'm going to sleep. Because I realize that this stuff will kill you. Ministry will kill you. Because number one, it's a stressful thing. And what happens with stress kills people. There's no diagnosis for stress. There's no you can't put it on a microphone. You can't put it on a MRI. You can't put it on a stethoscope. You can't measure stress. What stress is a spirit. You have to realize that what the spirit does, it comes to destroy you, come to kill you, come to kill your character, come to change your mind, change your attitude, change how you talk, how you eat, how you walk, how you live. That's what it comes to do. But when you walk in your purpose, you won't look at your situation. You'll look at God. You won't look at where you're at. You look at where you're going. You won't look at what people say. You'll look at what God is saying. You won't go by what people are saying. You won't go by what the crowd is saying. You won't go by how they treat you. You go by what the Lord said. You see, if my people were called by my name, or you called by His name, humble and pray, and seek His face. That's the thing about it. This is how you seek God's face. You get into the Word. You get into this Word, and this is God's faith. This is His faith right here. Number one, you can't see God. I can't see God and live. But you can see Him through the Word. You can see Him through His Word because Him and His Word is one. If you start getting in His Word, you'll see some things. That your life will change, your situation will change, your mind will change, your thoughts will change. Everything will happen and change. But this is the thing about people. People don't realize, people don't want to get into this. All they want to talk about how bad it is. They want to talk about this situation. They want to talk about what they're going through. The reason why people go through stuff is because they don't trust the Lord. The reason why people don't go through because they don't walk in their prayer. Why people keep going through because what they do is they keep refusing to obey God. If you don't obey God, what happens is what you're doing. You'll be crazy as a bedbug. I know some people right now, hey, and living in a hole. But what happens is they ain't bothered. You know why? Because they got their trust in the Lord. Just because people living on the street, just because people living in a different way, that don't mean they don't trust God. They're just in a bad situation. They ain't let their situation dictate their future. You have to realize this is what I'm saying, church. You're born with a purpose. You're kings and queens and priests in this earth. Act like it, live like it, talk like it, speak like it, hear it, and walk it. If you start doing that, you start seeing things change. You start seeing your situation change. You start seeing your family change. You start seeing your life change. You start seeing your occupation change. You start seeing some growth in the Lord. You start seeing the power of God working through your body. You see the power of God working through your mind. You see the word of God start working through your spirit. You see the God working through your house. You see the word of God working through your job. You see the word of God working through the school. You see the Lord working in behalf on your behalf. Give the Lord a hand praise. There we go. Obedience in the vow or promise to God causes the blessing to overtake you. 2 Samuel 2. Obedience to the vow. Hannah made a vow. The Bible says it's better not to make a vow than to make a vow and break it. Because when you make a vow and break it, what happens? You told a lie. Just that simple. 2 Samuel 2:20-21. And Eli blessed Elkanah and his wife and said, the Lord give thee seed of this woman for the loan which he lent to the Lord. And they went into their own home, and the Lord visited Hannah, so she conceived and bare 3 sons and 2 daughters. And the child of Samuel grew before the Lord. See? Obedience to the vow. She made a vow. Remember in chapter 1, she made a vow. She made a vow to the Lord. If you give me a male child, I'll give him back to you. God don't want to keep your children. He want to use your children. God don't want to keep your children. He want to use them. He want to get the glory out of their life. Last scripture. What we give to the Lord will grow and not only bless us, but will fulfill His purpose. Go to the 3rd chapter, 1 Samuel. Stop with it. And Samuel grew, 19-21. And Samuel grew, and the Lord was with him, and did let none of his words fall to the ground. Listen, and he grew, right? And all Israel from Dan to Beersheba knew that Samuel was established to be a prophet of the Lord. This is what she gave God, and he grew. And the Lord appeared again in Shiloh, for the Lord revealed himself to Samuel in Shiloh by the word of the Lord. Look what happened. What she gave the Lord came back and blessed other people. She gave God a male child. I mean, God gave her a male child. She gave it back, and he grew. Now he's blessing other people. So what you listen. So what you give to God, and listen. What you give to God, what He'll do, He'll bless it. He'll bless you, and He'll bless other people. Whatever you give God, He'll bless other people. When you begin to do what the Lord say do, you'll see other people blessed. You see blessed. Me and my wife, I keep saying this, I'm going to keep on saying it. When we started this ministry, number one, we wanted everybody in our church to be blessed. It happened. It has happened. Without a doubt. We had nothing to do with it. All the thing we did was pray. That's all we did. We prayed and gave instruction. Anytime you give God, I don't care if you give God nothing but a penny, it'll come back $1. But if you got more than a penny, you need to give more than a penny. Can I tell you? That's what Pastor, you told give God a penny. But what I'm saying is, if you don't have but a penny, if you give God a penny, it'll come back $1. Because the one thing about the Lord is, He don't play there. He like to bless. He like to bless His seed. He'll bless His seed. Everybody stand.